Alright, here is video review for Transformers Generation Selects. This is Dinobot Red Swoop according to the package, although I can reach it. There it is. Comes with a label that says Dinobot Red Swoop on it. And the packaging is similar to the Megatron, obviously smaller because we're getting Deluxes versus Voyagers. And inside here, it's got Power of the Primes, you've got a tray, Autobot logo, and then some little Matrix detailing, but nothing super fancy inside the package. And it's the same for both him and Ricochet with the Power of the Primes, like Primes detailing over here in the box. And yeah, so there's nothing super special about the box itself. Here is Dinobot Red Swoop. And I have to say, one of my disappointments with both him and Ricochet is they both feel very cheap. And I don't know if it's because, like, he's locked together pretty solidly in robot mode, or in dinosaur mode here, which is nice. But there's just something not quite right about them. And they just feel off. And I don't know if it's cheap plastic, if it's just mold reuse. I mean, Swoop had some issues with his molding anyway being loose. But the biggest problem is they did finally give him a red chest. Hooray. And then completely did not match the silver here at all. And I'll show, when we get to robot mode, you'll see it. But, so really the only way you're going to get a decent Swoop to combine with your guys is by swapping parts, except the one thing on this mode, of all the loose joints and things that don't tab together, the one thing they pinned all the friggin' way together is the wings. It's stabbed and pinned into the back, pinned in through here, pinned in through here. So the most egregious parts that you'd want to part swap, you can't even frickin' get off. Like, Anyway. But one of the things that is nice is it looks like they may have actually molded these. Maybe they're painted, but it looks like these may actually be molded in red plastic this time around instead of clear plastic. So maybe they'll be a little bit more resilient to not cracking. But either way. Or maybe they are clear. I don't know. It just doesn't. It looks more like it's made out of red plastic. Could be wrong. Maybe it's silver plastic. I don't know. But yeah, so there's Swoop. He comes with combiner hand and his sword. And he transforms exactly the same way. He does. He's got his arm modes. I'm not doing the combine modes for these because, again, if he matched better, I'd be like, look, and here he is all combined. But, like, you don't really see the red when combined, as well as the fact that the silver doesn't match. He looks ridiculous. So if you get them all apart, he's got very loose hips, a very super loose thigh swivel. I mean, like, he does manage to support himself. So there's that. He's got a job. Fold the wings back and around, however you want to display his wings here. I'll flip his fists out. But yeah, his shoulders are super loose. All of his swivels are fairly loose. He does stand. I'll give him that. His hips are loose, but they're not like super hingy. Yeah, and he doesn't. You know, if you look at him, he doesn't look bad. If you're just looking at him for a collection, if you want to have him as your own separate thing, some people are already talking about making them an entirely different character. Also fine. But when you compare it, like here he is with the original, and you can see the silver is just, it's this weird pale gray plastic. And you could swap out the arms at the hinge. This all the paint detailing seems to be the same. So if you swap out the legs, swap out the arms, even if you swapped out the head, you're good here. Because even where you have to knock a pin out, these kinds of pins you can get out fairly easily. And I think that may be one pin straight through the whole thing there. But these type of pins are notoriously difficult to get out and then reapply without everything being super hunky-dory loose. You can do it, but like I said, I know some people who sold... One, you can only do it if you have the blue version already. I know a lot of people who... not a lot of people, but I know some people who were talking about getting rid of their blue version in anticipation for the red version so they could have them all red, and the gray is completely different. So it's like, come on, guys. And I can understand the decision to, like, if we're going to do something different, let's make him different versus just changing the color of one part. I get it. I mean, I guess the head doesn't have the gold paint on it either. But come on, guys. But so there's the two of them together, and like I said, I will show them off if you want to see all the red. Although it's just going to make that gray probably more obvious, obviously different. But if you want a set of all red Dinobots, there you go. So yeah, it's neat. I mean, like I said, it could stand to be a little less loose. It would have been nice if they had matched the gray. If they had matched the silvery gray bits of the rest of the Dinobots, I'd be willing to forgive some of the looseness. But personally, I prefer the blue. I've always preferred SWOOP to be blue. I know some people want the red, and that's fine. I'm not calling you wrong. I'm just saying I've always preferred the blue there. I just think that looks better. I mean, like, even though it does kind of disjoint the team, SWOOP's always been blue in my mind. So there you go. But yeah, not. I don't know that he's not a complete disappointment, but he just could have been better. There is Generation Select or Premium. What do they call these things? Generation Selects, right? SWOOP, red SWOOP.